Have you ever thought about making English muffins? Me neither. Until I went to the shop looking for some and I couldn't find any. So we're gonna make them because homemade English muffins are one of those things that is astronomically better than the stuff that you buy in the store. And you can use them to make this. So let's do this. Into a large bowl, we're gonna mix 625 grams of bread flour, 40 grams of softened unsalted butter, and 20 grams of salt. If you have a stand mixer, then of course, let that do the job. Otherwise, get in there with your hands and keep mixing until all the butter is incorporated and you end up with sort of a sandy texture. In a different bowl, we're gonna mix 135 ml of water, 300 ml of whole milk, 30 grams of white sugar, and a whole sachet or 11 grams of dried instant yeast. Now, if you have the time and patience, you can let that bloom or whatever, but you don't have to. You can just mix everything in and pour it into the dry ingredients. Then get the paddle attachment for the stand mixer or attach your paddles to a spoon and get to work. You're gonna go as far as you can with the spoon and then you're gonna have to switch to your hands. Now be warned, this dough is very wet and sticky. So what we're gonna do to help this is after mixing in all the flour, we're gonna let that rest. After 15 minutes, it will still be sticky, but it's gonna hold together much better. If it's easier, try kneading it like this. Now we're gonna rest this 3 times in total, but before we cover it again, we're gonna try to turn this into a ball. Getting your hands wet helps with this. Already after the second rest, you can see how the gluten has started to develop and it's a lot less annoying to work with. It's time to cover it and let it rest one more time for 15 minutes. After the final rest, we're gonna give it another knead and we're gonna turn it into a ball that it's smooth as possible because we're gonna let it proof. 2 hours on the counter or until doubled in size is enough, but if you want better texture and flavor, you're gonna throw it in the fridge overnight. And it wouldn't be me if I didn't. We're gonna knock all the air out of it and we're gonna take it out on the counter. We're gonna turn it into a ball that we can divide into individual muffins, but before we do that, we're gonna prep the tray that they're gonna rest on. We'll give it a good dusting with either cornmeal or semolina flour, and regular flour for our work surface. The entire batch makes 12 English muffins. So we're gonna divide the dough ball in half, then each of those halves into 2 quarters, and then each of those quarters into 3 pieces. Then take each of those pieces and try to form them into a smooth ball as best as you can. A good technique to learn is squeezing them between your index finger and your thumb and pinching in the ends on the bottom. After we have all the individual balls, we're gonna lay them on the tray and we're gonna give them a flip so that we make sure that they get some of that cornmeal on each side. Then we're gonna pat them down and we're gonna get them as flat as possible, make sure they're spaced out, and then we're gonna cover them for about an hour or until they've doubled in size. We're gonna very gently lower these into a preheated dry pan and we don't wanna smack these around because we're gonna knock all the air out of them. They're like little pillows right now. Let them cook like this for, I don't know, 5, 6, 10 minutes until they start smelling like cooked bread. Then we're gonna just as gently flip those. Remember, the tops are still not cooked, so you're still in danger of knocking all the air out of them. Then cook them on that side until you can't see any more doughy bits in the middle. And your English muffins are done. Then you can take them and make a killer breakfast sandwich. Or the best Eggs Benedict that you've ever tried in your life. But I'll show you how to do that in the next episode. Roll out!